First off, we have my favorite signing from the Washington football team. It's gonna sound weird. I will try to explain myself as best as I can. My favorite signing was Ryan Fitzpatrick, the quarterback. I love Ryan Fitzpatrick. He was a big brother to Tua Tagovailoa last year. Veteran quarterback. I think it's his ninth team in his career, which is mind-boggling. But it's still funny at that. I love his beard. But yeah. So he signed 1 year, 10.5 million. Um, it wasn't. It's more of an emotional. That's why it's my favorite. They also signed Curtis Samuel last night, a really good wide receiver. Um, so they signed Ryan Fitzpatrick for 10.5. What do I think they should do? Listen, Ryan Fitzpatrick at this point in his career is a veteran duct tape quarterback at best. Like he wakes up on his best days. He's a duct tape quarterback. Like he's not a franchise quarterback. I think he's 38 or like 37. On the wrong side of 35. And playing football, that's not a good thing. So he's veteran duct tape. In my opinion, they still have to address the quarterback in the draft. What do I think they should do? They could draft Kellen Mond, an unknown, well, not unknown, he's still talked about, but he's not as known as Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, the Big Five, Mac Jones. He's not as well known as those guys. He's supposed to go in the second round, and I would love to see this. He has, in my opinion, amazing scrambling ability. Like he can scramble so well, and it's really cool. Also, he has a strong arm and inconsistent ball placement, meaning he has tendency to overthrow the ball. Um, but I think under the right coaching, which I think Riverboat Ron Rivera, right? His name is literally Riverboat Ron. Because he is such a boring, his offensive schemes are boring. And I think he'd be able, and boring sound, right? So I think that he'd be able to coach Kellen Mond well. One route. So I think in the second round, the football team could draft Kellen Mond. Or if they wanted to another route, in my opinion, they could trade for Gardner Minshew of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know if he could be their franchise quarterback, but I mean, behind the right coaching, I think he could be really good. He's physically limited. He can't throw a perfect spiral deep ball like some of the quarterbacks can. Most notably, the ones that I can think of. Derek Carr, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have that level of arm strength, but he's still pretty good, and that's why I think they should trade for him. Jacksonville has the first overall pick in the draft. What does that mean? They're gonna draft Trevor Lawrence, the generational talent of quarterbacks this year. Yeah, Gardner Minshew for the Jaguars, and Minshew is, I think, is a sixth round pick, meaning it would not cost too much to draft him. To trade for him. Maybe a fourth rounder, really not that much. And then second of all, right? So they have the moves: either draft Kellen Mond or trade for Gardner Minshew in what I think is a loaded class of parts that they could use well. Um, in my in my in my review of what they of parts that the team needed, they needed, in my opinion, a cornerback two. They have Kenny Fuller at as the cornerback one. They have what's the name, Cam Curl as full as strong safety. They needed a quarterback too, and they got that. Will Jackson. I don't know his name that well, but I know it's Jackson from Cincinnati, and I love this move. Was it an overpayment? Sure. $14 million over 3 years. I'm sorry, it's over 3 years. They don't. It's not like they paid the guy 14 mil over 8 years. You know, it's really not that big. It's not gonna hurt them financially in the long term. So yeah, they signed Will Jackson from the Bengals as their cornerback too, I believe. And listen, with Ron Rivera again, a defensive-minded head coach, he's not. I believe that Ron Rivera could really use. Will Jackson is still young. I believe he's 25. I'll have that in. But I believe that he's still young. So I mean, Ron Rivera still has the chance to top that untapped potential that I think he has. Then, what should they do in the first round? Because they have the 19th overall pick. What should they do with it? And in my opinion, they should draft offensive line. They re-signed Brandon Sharp, their tackle, but he's a veteran for 1 year, aging veteran for 1 year. It's not a long-term solution, and this is the draft to be drafting your long-term solutions at offensive line. They could draft Elijah Vera Tucker, Tevin Jenkins, which I really like. Tevin Jenkins, violent, well, in a good way, violent. He's aggressive in a way that you need offensive linemen to be aggressive. He has a high floor. Um, I love Tevin Jenkins. I think Elijah Very Tucker is solid as well, but I think definitely Tevin Jenkins, and he should be available there. Um, it depends on who drafts what. Let's say if Tevin Jenkins isn't there, he should get picked by them. If Tevin Jenkins is not there, Elijah Vera Tucker should get picked. If Elijah Vera Tucker is not there, Tevin Jenkins should get picked. They re-signed Bradley Sharp, but I think either one of those guys would be amazing on the left side as a way of either learning behind them or etc. etc. No matter what they do, they can't go wrong if they draft a good offensive lineman at 19. Listen, the football team has Cam Sims, Terry McLaurin. Literally last night, they signed Curtis Samuel recently of the Carolina Panthers. They have Logan Thomas at tight end. I love what the football team is doing. They have all they really need is an offensive line, a quarterback. That they need a free safety maybe. They have a strong safety. They have cornerbacks in Jackson and Fuller. They have receivers and the guys that I just named. They have a running back in Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick. They have a stellar front seven, like a fantastic front seven. They have a good coach. I don't want to make any predictions, but if they do everything properly in this draft, who knows? They could end up being going for a deeper playoff push than I think most people expect, and I'd love to see it. I mean it. Listen, I'm a Giants fan, so I'm NFC East or NFC least, dep- depending on what you want to call it. But I don't know why I've had a soft spot for the Redskins before in the football team now. Um, I love, especially with Ron Rivera. I mean, I Logan Thomas literally burst onto the scene this year. I love it. And listen, if they want to, in the third round, this would be the luxury pick of luxury picks. They pick up Tamari and Terry. I'll have a highlight of them somewhere. I'll literally here. Tamari and Terry in the third round, 6'4". He's a DK Metcalf type prospect. I don't think he will go there, but it would, again, in the third round, it would be a luxury pick of luxury picks on a team with already good receivers. He could possibly be a number one when you already have Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, who's a very viable number two. Um, Cam Sims, which played number two last year. I assume he would be third in the pecking order of wide receivers. And you have Logan Thomas at tight end. On Damari and Terry, if you add him in there, would be insane. You have Antonio Gibson, J. Oh, I'm repeating myself, but I love what the football team is doing right now.